Hi guys, I'm back, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to properly sanitize things for your hermit crab tank. I'm going to be showing with lots of different things, including driftwood and rocks. I'm also going to be doing some plastic plants that were inside of my own tank. That should cover most of it. For wood, you do it the same way with driftwood as you would do normal wood. And let's get started. Start with some boiling water. Put either paper towels or towel down on a clear surface. I'm just using towel because that seems better. All this stuff here, so then you get your items, and all this stuff here is stuff I just got today while hiking for the hermit crab's tank. Some driftwood pieces, some nice rocks. Okay, so none of this is really sanitary. Like these were down by a river. Okay, so we're going to start with the driftwood pieces. So I'm just going to take this one here and drop it in there. So because it doesn't all fit in, I'm going to have to move it around. And you're also going to need some sort of special thing. I'm using this to scoop stuff and pour it on because I might need that for some of the things. And then I'm using this to scoop it out because I'm not going to touch it once it's all wet. Right now I can just do that. But now I'm going to flip it. And now I don't want to touch that end. But I need this because look at the middle, that's not wet at all. So you just pour it on. I'm going to try and move this just a little bit. That's hot. That didn't work. Just flipped it back. I'll try this so that I can control it more. So the back still has most of it covered. Pour it on. Eventually your water might get a little brown or something like that. Mine's not yet, but this is just the first piece. Okay, that other side should be cool enough to touch now. Yeah. And I'm going to flip that once more. There we go. I'm going to take my spatula again, or not spatula, thing again, and pour it on. I'm going to try it a little bit over here. There we go. So now this is pretty much all wet. And so I'm just going to leave that in there for a bit. Scoop it up a little more. Pour it on this side a little bit. It looked like that spot there wasn't wet, it's just not turning as dark. Now the water's turning a little bit brown. That's just fine. There it is. Now you need to make sure you have a spot for it to dry, and mine's right there. Then for wood, unless it's small, you don't really need this. You can mostly just use your hands as long as it's not too hot. You want to make sure it's not going to drip. And bring it over and lay it down. The reason it's darker is just because it's wet, but you can see a little bit. It's steaming, so that's just because it's hot, but you don't want to put this in your hermit crab's tank right now because it's so, hot. It's still warm, and you don't want that in your hermit crab's tank. Some of the other things will be more wet. I'm going to do this one now. This is super long, so it might be a little harder to do. It's kind of like a boomerang look, sideways like that. So I can't put it in any farther than this. So this side, I'm going to move it. over this way, and you might notice that doesn't really work either. So I'm going to have to pour some water on that area if I can even get this to stand up. Yeah, because that happens. Okay, I got it to stay up because I placed my ant farm bin part over right next to it. So now that it's propped up, I'm able to use this again and pick some up, and I'll put it on top. Don't forget the smaller part, because the part next to the water, right next to the water also, is like unsanitary unless you get it. So okay, I'm gonna flip this again. Alright. This side's easier because it kind of just sits. Okay. And this side was just done, not just this side. Okay, that should be good. The reason I'm showing it with all of these pieces, not just one for each substance, is so that you can see how to do it with different things. Because if you have a longer piece like this one, you might not know how to do it. There's this one next. And this is the last one. It's the flatter one. So this is a pretty hard to do one. You can see it starts bubbling right away. The water's starting to turn a different color. You can see where it got wet and not. So that doesn't fit in either. So I'm going to take this out for the other side. That's still very hot. And take my scooper again. The water, put it on top. Okay, so there's still stuff that's not wet yet here, so I'm going to flip it like that. It's not wet. Oh. This was probably the trickiest one to do yet, and now that it's done, I let it sit for a while in here, flipping it and pouring water on it. So now I'm going to take that out too. It's still pretty hot on the edges, so I'm just going to try and use my sleeve, pick it up. There. So that's for the wood. So one that fit pretty nicely, one that was way too long, and then one that was also long but pretty thick. Now we're going to do the rocks. There's lots of different sizes. I'm going to start with this big one. I'm just going to set that there and show you the water. So it's pretty brown. Also, not only that, but a lot of the water is evaporated So I'm going to pour a little more in and then wait for it to boil again. Here's the water. Now let's put it in. After I poured the water in, I took a little out just so that you can see the brownness. It's not that much now that I took out or put more water in, so it kind of evened out, but you can still see it's browner. And I'll compare it at the end.
Yeah, I gotta do this over it.
So now, once it starts boiling again, I'm actually going to turn this up to high.
What is carpet?
Okay, so once it starts boiling, I'm going to put this in the water and show you how to do that. This is going to be hard to get out because it's going to be hard to use these because these are not sturdy. I mean, they're sturdy but not sturdy enough. And it's a pretty big rock and I'm not going to be able to pick it up myself.